All right, y'all, check me out. Down here in Philadelphia at the train station, I'm gonna do this video real quick. I downloaded the 182-page sentencing memorandum issued by Puffy's legal team. Puffy's lawyers, they're asking for 14 months time served, which is in line with the sentencing guideline range that Judge Submaranian asked for. In Judge Submaranian's order, I think it was dated July the 9th, he asked for both the defense and both the prosecution to give him cases that do, what we got, about 10, 15 minutes?
Yeah.
All right, appreciate you, man. Cause I'm going to Pittsburgh. Appreciate you. USC 18-24-21 with a sentencing guideline range of 2G1.1, right? With a criminal history category of 1. You going too? You going to Pittsburgh too? All right. Will they make like an announcement before they take off?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, my man. I'm down here in Philly. Me and Sean going to Chicago to see the Mets play the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field. We're going to Wrigley Field. We're going to the shop. Everybody in the shop in Chicago, hit me on my DM in my Instagram or send me an email at thepodcastwassold@gmail.com. Let us know you in Chicago. Me and Lil Sean gonna be there for 2 days. Come scoop us up, take us to get something to eat, hang out with us. So what Judge Submaranian asked for, that's all he asked for, right? Criminal history category of 1, which Puffy is a 0, first offender. 18 USC 24-21, which is the Mann Act. If you look on the sentencing guideline range for that, it comes in at 15 months to 21 months. They're asking for 14 months, okay? Which is pretty much time served. So they're saying that when they go for sentencing on the 3rd, it's over. They want Puff to go home that day. The prosecution, on the other hand, check this part out. This is page 2, but it's page 24 of 182 pages, right? Document 510. What Puffy's lawyers are saying is that the jury spoke. The jury spoke. The jury spoke, right? And that's why we have juries in jury trials, because you take the power away from the judge, you take the power away from the prosecution, and you give it to the citizens of the jury, the citizens of New York. And 12 New Yorkers said Puffy was not guilty of racketeering conspiracy, which included force, fraud, coercion, violence, arson, bribery, possession with the intent to distribute drugs, SEX trafficking. Not guilty, not guilty, not guilty. The jury said that. Yet, the government is the probation department, the Southern District of New York. The probation department and the prosecutors are trying to ask for, like, according to this document, a ridiculous amount of time. The probation department, I think, is asking for something like 70 months to 87 months. 70 months, what is that? 7 years? 6 years? 6 to 8 years? Out of their minds, man. But anyway, introduction. The government accused Puffy of some heinous crimes. It branded him an evil trafficker and racketeer who coerced and defrauded his girlfriends into having SEX against their will. But none of that was true. Puffy exercised his constitutional right to fight the allegations and put the government to its proof at a jury trial. And at that trial, the government, the Southern District of New York, deployed the full force of its awesome power. For 8 weeks, it presented the best evidence it could muster to support these disturbing allegations, but it failed to prove them because the trial revealed the true facts. 12 attentive jurors heard all of the evidence. They heard the testimony of Puffy's girlfriends. They saw thousands of text messages, emails, videos, and other documents about the relationships and events in question. Those 12 citizens diligently applied Judge Submaranian's instructions on the law to that evidence and unanimously rejected the Southern District of New York's sordid tale of coercion and racketeering. The jury's verdict could not have been clearer and more consistent. The jury found that Puffy is not guilty of forcing, coercing, or defrauding either Cassie or Jane, and that he is not guilty of RICO conspiracy. But the jury did find that Puffy guilty of prostitution offenses. Obviously because, and the government emphasized in the closing argument, those counts didn't require proof of threats, force, fraud, or coercion. Put simply, the jury has spoken. Its verdict represents an affirmative indication of innocence. Puffy must be sentenced for what the jury convicted him of: interstate transportation of fully consenting adult males with intent to engage in prostitution. But it would be unlawful and a perversion of justice for Judge Submaranian to sentence him as if the jury had convicted him of the SEX trafficking and the RICO, or to increase his sentence based on Judge Submaranian's own findings about force or coercion or racketeering. What is the point of a jury trial if the defendant can be acquitted but then sentenced as if he had been convicted? Doing so nullifies the entire purpose of a jury. Juries are democratic institutions called upon to represent the community as a bulwark between the state and the accused. And their verdicts are the tools by which they do so. Consistent with this, juries were historically able to use acquittals in various ways to limit the Southern District of New York's authority to punish, an ability that the founders prized. With an acquittal, the jury, as a representative of the people, community, has been asked by the state to authorize punishment for an alleged crime and has refused to do so. That is why acquittals have long been accorded special weight, and we are traditionally treated as inviolate even if a judge disagrees with the jury's verdict. Accordingly, Supreme Court justices from across the ideological spectrum and many other jurists, lawyers, and commentators have opined that using acquitted conduct to enhance a sentence violates Puffy's Fifth and his Sixth Amendment right of the Constitution, as well as a fundamental principle of fairness and justice. It also erodes the perceived fairness of the criminal justice system. Indeed, the woman on the street would be quite taken aback to learn that a person's sentence could be increased based upon acquitted conduct. Check this part out. Yet, the Southern District of New York Probation Office and the Southern District of New York Prosecution is asking Judge Submaranian to do just that. Probation recommends guideline enhancements based on acquitted conduct and the imposition of a sentence 5 times longer than the average sentence for Mann Act defendants with similar criminal histories and justifies this lengthy sentence based on the supposed fraud and coercion that the jury rejected. The Southern District of New York prosecution, who lost, the Southern District of New York prosecution, who got beat, who lost, lead prosecutor got fired, for their part, have lost all perspective. They advocate for numerous enhancements. Even the probation department didn't find warranted to seek to sentence Puffy for under different enhancements for a crime he was never charged with, which result in a guideline range above 20 years. The Southern District of New York prosecution is trying to give Puffy more time than 20 years than the statutory maximum. This is wildly out of proportion to the conduct at issue. Threesomes were fully competent adult men and women voluntarily crossing state lines, and they had consensual sex with each other. And the defendant, Puffy, made no money from the conduct. We are unaware of any other Mann Act prosecution based on such conduct. Nevertheless, the median sentence for Mann Act defendants sentenced under applicable guidelines 2G1.1 B1 criminal history category 1 is 12 months incarceration, and the average sentence is under 15 months. Even when one includes defendants who receive the coercion enhancement, it's only 15 months. Thus, probation, Southern District of New York probation recommends a sentence 5 times the typical sentence. And the government, the Southern District of New York prosecution, apparently believes a sentence 20 times the typical sentence may be appropriate. This draconian approach makes Alice in Wonderland, Queen of Hearts, seem benevolent. Instead of sentence first, verdict afterwards, the government's view is verdict be damned, lock him up and throw away the key. Fairness and justice, as well as the Constitution, federal sentencing law, and common sense require a far lower sentence in this unique case. Puffy is an extraordinary person who has made monumental professional and personal contributions throughout his 55 years to society, his family, his community, and beyond. And just as importantly, Mr. Combs has much more to give. It will not serve any purpose of sentencing to keep him incarcerated and away from his elderly mother and 7 children, unable to contribute meaningfully to the community as he has throughout his adult life. So the prosecution and the probation department is trying to enhance Puff for coercion and force and fraud. He was found acquitted of that. The jury said, yeah, I heard that right there. I heard you right there. All 6 of y'all assistant U.S. attorneys, I heard you, Southern District of New York. The jury said, nah, never that. Not guilty. That shit about. Get out of here with that. No force, no fraud, no coercion. Amendment 826 of the Sentencing Commission rules that acquitted conduct cannot be used in determining the guideline range for sentencing purposes. But the Southern District of New York Probation Department and the prosecution have gotten together. They want to circumvent that law. They want to cheat again, as they cheated every day in the trial. I was there every day. They cheated every day and they still lost. And they want Judge Submarinian to turn a blind eye to the law and side with his colleagues. Now, Judge Submarinian is on, the pressure is on you. Are you gonna stand up and hold justice and apply the law to the letter of the law to a citizen that exercise his right to a jury trial and won, or you going to get down with your colleagues and do something not right and exact and violate Puffy's 5th and 6th Amendment right, his 1st Amendment right? You understand? This shit is crazy. But I got more videos to come. I'm in Philadelphia. Me and Lil Sean on our way to Pittsburgh, and then from Pittsburgh we're going to the Chi. We're going to Chicago. We're going to Wrigley Field. Watch the Mets bring it on in. Just got laid off from my window cleaning job. God just called me, Sean, we're gonna have to lay you off from the window cleaning, so you know what I'm saying? But it don't never stop. We still keep going. Got the dope coffee. No sugar in the coffee. No sugar in the coffee. The Southern District of New York and the Southern District of New York Probation Department continue to cheat. Y'all lost. You got beat. You know, take your loss like a man and say, man, you got it. You got it. You want to sentence this man to 6 years, 7 years for a Mann Act, and you enhancing him for force. Amendment 826 don't allow it. Amendment 826 don't allow it. And we on the case. Sean G podcast was sold down here in Philadelphia. I'm in Philadelphia. It don't never stop. Follow me on all my platforms. TikTok, Instagram, Spotify. The podcast was sold on Spotify. Podcast was sold on Spotify. Open up a Spotify account and subscribe to my Spotify so I can get my numbers up, so I can get another check, because I just got laid off from my window cleaning joint. But I'm still money though. And I still look good. It don't never stop. Shout out Free Puff. Shout out to Mark Agnifilo, Tenny Garagos, Xavier Donaldson, Nicole Westmoreland, Brian Steele, goddamn Mark Agnifilo, Alexander Shapiro, Jason Driscoll, Jonathan Bach, Anna Estebejo. Y'all beat them. Y'all beat them at trial. They lost. Don't let them off the hook. Continue to beat them. Continue to beat them and hold them accountable. Hold them to the letter of the law, of what the law is supposed to be. Puffy, the sentence, Judge Submarinian, I'm talking to you. Look at me. Base offense level 14, category 1, 15 months to 21 months. He done already did 12, so he done already did, check my man out. He done already did 12, right? He got 54 days good time, so it's like he done did 14 months already. So it's time served, man. Let's move on. This is over. This train better not leave me. It ain't gonna leave me, because you know why? Because I'm the most important person on the train. Judge Submarinian. It's over, man. But I downloaded 2 documents. I'm gonna be going through them. Keep coming back to the channel. I'm gonna keep putting up videos. One document is 182 pages. Another document is 133 pages. They talk about Puffy's life and everything in there. Sean G, podcast was sold. Peace.